They called him Jon Snow, the brooding warrior, the reluctant king, the face of fire and ice. But when the cameras stopped rolling and the fantasy faded, Kit Harington did something no one expected. He vanished into luxury. No scandal. No reality show, no overexposure. Just silence, strategy, and a multi-million-dollar empire built in the shadows, while other stars chased headlines. Kit collected homes, classic cars, ancient castles, and private island getaways. While influencers were flexing for clicks, he was restoring a Tudor estate, sipping vintage Bordeaux, and investing in generational wealth. He didn't just survive fame, he mastered it. This is not the story of a viral celebrity. This is the blueprint of a modern-day mogul in disguise. From prestige acting to private jets, from red carpets to remote countryside manors, from a fictional throne to real world royalty. This is how Kit Harington turned quiet power into a legacy and became the most luxurious mystery in Hollywood. Inside Kit Harington's luxury life, castles, couture, and quiet wealth, Kit Harington doesn't just act like royalty. He lives like it after years of playing Jon Snow. Kit traded in his swords and fur cloaks for something far more elite. A real-life 15th century English manor, tucked away in the peaceful countryside of Suffolk, purchased for £1.75 million. The estate features everything you'd imagine from an old-world fantasy, private moat, oak beam ceilings, stone fireplaces, manicured gardens fit for a king. But this isn't a tourist fantasy. This is home. Kit and his wife, Rose Leslie, have spent years restoring the property, not for headlines, but for heritage. And when he's not in England, he lives like a global citizen of style. You'll find him in Paris, St. Bart's, or at private retreats in Switzerland. His travel is discreet but first class. Private jets, chauffeured Bentleys, and eco-resorts designed for peace, not paparazzi. His wardrobe is equally refined. Kit is a loyal fan of Burberry, Saint Laurent, and Tom Ford, opting for tailored minimalism over red carpet flash. He doesn't chase logos. He embodies elegance. Behind the scenes, Kit collects first edition classic novels, rare wines and whiskeys, fine art pieces from contemporary European artists, watches so exclusive, they're never posted online, just appreciated quietly. And while some celebrities build homes for resale value, Kit builds a legacy. He's invested in green energy upgrades, conservation efforts, and sustainable architecture within his estate, because for him, luxury and longevity go hand in hand. No YouTube mansion tours, no Instagram bragging, just cultivated privacy, timeless design, and generational wealth crafted with care, because Kit Harington doesn't need to flaunt luxury. He lives it, protects it, and lets the silence speak for itself. Game of Thrones. Money, fame, and pressure. Game of Thrones turned Kit into an international phenomenon. At its peak, he was reportedly earning $1.1 million per episode alongside the top-tier cast. Multiply that by 8 seasons. Residuals, syndication deals, and global licensing. Kit Harington didn't just become wealthy. He became financially untouchable, but fame came with a cost. By the end of the series, Kit publicly admitted to struggling with pressure, exhaustion, and identity loss. After filming Wrapped in 2019, he quietly checked into a wellness retreat to reset. No PR spin. No paparazzi theatrics, just a man confronting his demons. And that's the Harington paradox. He's both myth and man, steel and softness. The king who needed to step down to find himself again. The private empire, cars, homes, and hidden islands. Kit Harington doesn't flaunt his wealth on social media, but behind closed gates. His lifestyle rivals any A-list mogul. Let's start with the cars. While he's not seen speeding down Sunset in flashy convertibles, Kit has a known appreciation for classic British engineering. His collection reportedly includes a Jaguar F-Type coupe, sleek, dark, and understated, just like his public image, a Land Rover Defender, perfect for country drives and muddy back roads near his estate, a vintage Aston Martin V8 Vantage, restored and customized for quiet weekend escapes. Each vehicle reflects his brand, timeless, powerful, and unfazed by trends. But cars are only part of the picture. When Kit isn't at his centuries-old Suffolk manor, he divides his time between a London townhouse in a historic, ultra-secure district where privacy meets elegance. A Scotland hideaway near his wife's ancestral land, where the two go fully off-grid. Rumors also swirl of a co-owned villa in the south of France, shared with discreet European financiers and creatives. He's also rumored to have fractional ownership in a private island retreat in the Maldives, accessible only to high-tier members of a luxury hospitality syndicate. No paparazzi, no press, access, just crystal waters, full-time chefs, and villa-style living. His homes are designed for permanence, not resale. Custom libraries, stone wine cellars, indoor theaters, solar energy systems. One home even features a secret meditation room, designed with imported Himalayan stone and a live plant wall. And yet, despite the grandeur, there's no excess, no gold-plated sinks, no social media bragging, just elegance, function, taste. Because Kit Harington's wealth doesn't scream, it whispers. He doesn't just own luxury, he curates it. Piece by piece, home by home, mile by mile, the art of selective reinvention. While some actors rush into new roles post-fame, Kit did the opposite. He paused, strategized, protected his mystique. Instead of cashing in on every offer, he chose prestige over popularity. Marvel's Eternals as Dane Whitman, aka the Black Knight. Theatrical runs in London's West End, proving his acting chops went beyond CGI. Executive production roles behind the scenes. Every decision was calculated. He didn't want to be a typecast heartthrob. He wanted to be a serious artist and an intentional businessman. From Stark Castle to real-life royal living, Kit Harington lives like a nobleman, and not just on screen. Alongside his wife, got co-star Rose Leslie. The couple purchased a £1.75 million 15th century Tudor manor in Suffolk. We're talking moats, ancient oak beams, lush private gardens, a full estate restoration project. It's less Hollywood Hills and more House of the Dragon. But for real, the couple's home is reportedly protected by heritage laws. Think curated countryside life, with privacy gates and history baked into every stone. But don't be fooled. Kit isn't stuck in the past. He vacations in St. Bart's, attends events in bespoke Tom Ford suits, drives classic Jaguars, collects rare literature, and has quietly invested in sustainable fashion ventures and wellness startups in Europe. He doesn't post it. He lives it. Hollywood on his terms. After Thrones, Kit's inbox exploded. Streaming deals, franchise offers, magazine covers. But he turned down far more than he accepted. Why? Because he knew this industry eats you alive if you let it. Instead of riding momentum, he built a foundation, producing projects through smaller studios, writing, collaborating, and directing, choosing roles that reflect complexity and nuances. Reportedly working on a Jon Snow sequel series for HBO, one where he has creative control. Because for Kit, acting isn't just performance, it's power. And he wants a seat at the table, not just a spot in the cast. Luxury without the loudness. Kit's wealth isn't defined by flash. It's defined by taste. He doesn't flood Instagram with branded content. He doesn't flaunt watches, yachts, or Lamborghinis. Instead, his luxury is quiet. Tom Ford and Burberry wardrobes, private art showings, vintage wine collections, exclusive member-only clubs in London and Paris. And his net worth? Estimates range between $12 to $15 million. But with investment deals, production equity, and franchise royalties, industry insiders believe it could be far higher. Kit doesn't chase brand deals. Brands chase him. Controversies, vulnerability, and the road to healing. Kit Harington's journey hasn't been scandal-free, but it's been human. After Thrones, tabloids speculated about burnout and breakdowns. Some accused him of being too cold in interviews. Others questioned his post-goatee direction. But through it all, Kit owned his story. He spoke openly about therapy, about masculinity, about trauma, and rather than run from vulnerability, he embraced it. He's worked with mental health charities, donated to arts programs, and championed better representation in UK theater and film. He isn't the loudest advocate, but he's one of the most consistent. The inner circle and the long game. Kit Harington doesn't do entourages. He does strategy. His core team includes UK-based agents focused on prestige media, financial advisors with ties to European art and eco-investment sectors, publicists who specialize in image minimalism, and a tight-knit group of creatives, including his wife, who keep him balanced. He isn't interested in trending. He's interested in enduring. What's next? The return of the quiet Titan rumors swirl of new projects. A Game of Thrones sequel, an indie film set in post-World War I Britain, a possible memoir on masculinity and identity. But Kit remains, as always, silent, not because he has nothing to say, but because when he speaks, people listen. Kit Harington, the blueprint for silent success, not chasing fame. He's designing a legacy, acts less, produces more, spends wisely, lives beautifully, shows vulnerability without sacrificing strength, protects peace, crafts powered eye in a world of influencers shouting for attention. Kit Harington is proof that the loudest moves are often made in silence. He's not just the king in the north. He's the king of the long game. And while others chase noise, Kit Harington is building an empire, one whisper at a time. And if you found this glimpse into his life as captivating as we did, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. Because while Kit may rule in silence, we're here to bring the story to light, one legendary life at a time.